seeing what others missed. As he climbed into his pickup truck outside his convenience store, Rich Dad said, "Keep working, boys, but the sooner you forget about needing a paycheck, the easier your adult life will be. Keeping using your brain, work for free, as soon your mind will show your ways of making money far beyond what I could ever pay you. You will see things that other people will never see. Most people never see these opportunities because they are looking for money and security. So that's all they get. The moment you see your one opportunity, you will see them for the rest of your life. The moment you do that, I'll teach you something else. Learn this, and you will avoid one of the biggest life's trap. Mike and I picked up our things from the store and waved goodbye to Mrs. Martin. We went back to the park to the same picnic bench and spent several more hours thinking and talking. We spent the next week at the school thinking and talking too. For 2 more weeks, we kept thinking, talking, and working for free. At the end of the second Saturday, I was again saying goodbye to Mrs. Martin and looking at the comic book stand with a longing gaze. The hard thing about not even getting 30 cents every Saturday was that I didn't have to any money to buy comic books. Suddenly, as Mrs. Martin said goodbye to Mike and me, I saw her doing something I would never see her doing before. Mrs. Martin was cutting the front pages of the comic books in half. She kept the top half of the comic book cover and threw the rest of the book into a large cardboard box. When I asked her what she did with the comic books, she said, "I throw them away. I give the top half of the cover back to the comic book distributor for credit when he brings in the new comic books. He's coming in an hour." Mike and I waited for an hour. Soon the distributor arrived, and I asked him if we could have a comic books. Uh, to my delight, he said, "You can have them if you work for the store and do not resell them." Remember our old business partner? Mike and I reviewed it. Using a spare room in Mike's basement, we began piling hundreds of comic books in that room. Soon, our comic book library was open to the public. We hired Mike's younger sister, who loved to study, to be head librarian. She charged each child 10 cents admission to the library, which was open from 2:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. every day after school. The customers, the children of the neighborhood, would read as many comics as they want in 2 hours. It was a bargain for them since a book costed 10 cents each, and they would read 5 or 6 in 2 hours. Mike's sister would check the kids as they left to make sure they weren't borrowing any comic books. She also kept the books, logging in many kids showed up each day, who they were, and any comments they might have. Mike and I averaged $9.5 per week over a 3-month period. We paid her sister $1 a week and allowed her to read the comics for free, which she rarely did since she was always studying. Mike and I kept our agreements by working in the store every Saturday and collecting all the comic books from different stores. We kept our agreements to the distributor by not selling any comic books. We burned them once they got tarred. We tried opening a branch office, but we could never quite find someone who's trustworthy and dedicated as Mike's sister. At an early age, we found out how hard it was to find good staff. 3 months after the library first opened, a fight broke out in the room. Some bullies from another neighborhood pushed their way in, and Mike's dad suggested we shut down the business. So our comic book business shut down, and we stopped working on Saturdays at the convenience store. But the rich dad was excited because he had new things he wanted to teach us. He was happy because we had learned our first lesson so well. We learned to make money work for us, not getting paid for our work at the store. We were forced to use our imagination to identify an opportunity to make money. By starting our own business, the comic book library, we were in control of our own finances, not dependent on an employer. The best part was that our business generated money for us even when we weren't physically there. Our money worked for us. Instead of paying us money, Rich Dad had given us so much more.